Hello, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, Worcester, Vermont. Here's Tuesday's weather brief, this on the 22nd of October. What you can see is a big, large ridge of higher pressure with these, you can see the sort of tan-colored lines. These are heights at 500 hectopascals, and what you can see is generally the jet stream is up to our north. We have a large ridge of higher pressure aloft, and at the surface, a little smaller area of higher pressure that's beginning to work its way further off to the south and east. This more active weather pattern that's occurring up in parts of Canada is going to be starting to come down toward us a little bit more, but series of higher pressures will begin to develop and then kind of repeat this weather pattern, which has been giving us such an incredible, really, October so far, and that even goes back to September. So kind of the same combination of things, except we're seeing a little bit of a colder turn on the weather. That's going to happen here after Wednesday night into the day on Thursday, and you're going to feel the difference here in the Green Mountain State. Using the analysis, we're going to drill from top to bottom down, and for those who don't know, I do all of my forecasting from scratch off of data that I'm looking at via the models and the current synoptic system. And right now, what we can see here is kind of a zonal flow coming in from the Pacific Northwest, strong jet stream action, and this is at about 300 millibars. Looking at the next slice down, we'll take it down to 500. That's about 18,000 feet. You got a lot of flow coming in off the Pacific again at this slice of the atmosphere, a little bit lower now, a trough of lower pressure. This is the area with best lifting. Looking at the 700 millibar, you will probably see a little bit of cloud cover at 700, higher relative humidities at about 10,000 feet elevation. And you can see most of that up in the northern areas, a little bit closer to the Canadian border and points north. Then continuing at 850 hectopascals, the lifting mechanisms are shown here. This is the trough. This is about the top of Mount Mansfield at about 850 hectopascal. Ticking at, getting rid of the lifting mechanisms. What you can see here is the colder temperatures that are behind this trough of lower pressure. This is what's going to be working in across Vermont, but it's going to be taking a dip kind of out of the west-northwest. The next panel we're looking at, or slice of the atmosphere, is at 925 hectopascal, and that's about the base lodge levels of most ski resorts here in the Green Mountains, for example. And what you can see again is that those colder temperatures, 0 degree isotherm, -2, that's where the real cold air lies, and that is north of Montana in the areas around Alberta and Saskatchewan. And once again, looking at the visual satellite pictures here with the infrared off in the areas that are darker, you can see a tropical cyclone that's off Mexico. This is going to head sort of to the west-northwest, and some of that is going to pull across and eventually become an atmospheric river across parts of California. That'll be interesting to see that in Southern California, potential heavy precipitation as PWATS somewhere around 2 to 4 standard deviation, 2 to 4 sigma, is basically some pretty wet conditions that's going to stretch across portions of Southern California. This will be well around a corner, but this is the origins, and that'll get stretched and then pulled in by the jet stream. The other deal is the tropical system that's located here in sort of north and east of the Bahamas. This is going to be taking a track. It could clip eastern parts of Newfoundland, and so it doesn't look like it's going to be too serious, and nothing we haven't seen many, many times before. This is Walt Scenic over in Sugarbush in central Vermont, and conditions are just pretty fabulous for this time of year, very unusual. We should be seeing a lot more cloud cover and, of course, colder temperatures. Well, those colder temperatures are just around the corner. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, what we can see here, this is our 12Z, or 8 o'clock this morning, Tuesday, modeled heights of the atmosphere here, showing the jet stream. Also, at the surface here, you can see these little isobars and whatnot, area of higher pressure. This is that tropical cyclone that's going to be tracking a tropical storm. And then we'll just run the model here, and what you can see that here comes a cooler trough. We get a little bit of colder air on the backside. They're pretty strong cold front right here. This is going to be moving through as we get into Wednesday night. And that'll trigger some scattered showers. And on the tail side of that, we could see some wet snowflakes in some of our mountaintops before everything begins to wind on down somewhere along about Thursday afternoon. Then another ridge of higher pressure will build in. You can see that taking place. The jet stream pulls up to the north and east. A more significant area of low pressure pulls up to the north and east and takes that with it. Another trough tries to move down into Canada, but it's really not going to affect areas around southern Quebec so much. Still a little bit of a northwesterly flow, but an area of higher pressure is going to build back into the region. That's also going to bring us some decent amounts of sunshine for a time here. Now this goes beyond the forecast period really through Saturday, but you can see what sets up here. Another trough in the west, another very strong 1037 hectopascal area of higher pressure, and this is using the European AI. So artificial intelligence used in some of the modeling is actually working out very well. This is a longer range, so we'll just kind of cover it. Of course, this is going into the early to mid part of the following week. We're talking the end of the month, 31st of October here. Looks like a pretty strong southwesterly flow, or westerly flow, southwesterly I should say. And that is because of this very strong ridging of higher pressure back into the southeast states with that incoming area of low pressure. So pressure gradient pretty tight, pretty strong southerly gradient winds, probably channeling in places like the Champlain Valley. This is way beyond. And then we have one of these ripples or areas of low pressure that will then form and then move along and cross just a little bit to our north. But it's going to swing in a pretty strong cold front, and there might even be some thunderstorm activity with this setup here. And again, another dip in the trough of lower pressure beyond, and we're talking into the area around Monday, the 4th of November, a long, long ways out. Looking at precipitation. Once again, we're looking at the long range here, the European AI. So this is our precipitation coming in. This is not going to happen until Wednesday night. And you can see that colder air follows it just on the tail end. That combination could bring us a few wet snowflakes in some of our mountains, maybe a dusting in some of the mountaintop areas, maybe a little lower than that. But for the most part, not looking like a big deal. Very limited amounts of precipitation falling, and then as we get into 18Z, that basically blows on out and winds on down. So things dry out, another area of higher pressure builds in with that ridge, and so on, until the next weather system. It comes in little bits and pieces and a little bit more widely scattered or scattered in terms of precipitation. This could get us with a little bit of wet snow, potentially down in the Valley of Flores, but probably a lot of that is going to be in the mountains. I'm not expecting any accumulation, but that would be along about as we get into some portion of Saturday with that next weather system. Then 1032 hectopascal area of higher pressure builds in for a better day. So it looks like Saturday and Sunday this coming weekend, that'll be split basically, with Sunday becoming the better day as an area of higher pressure pulls into the region. We still have a little bit of lingering frontal boundary here, and this 1035 hectopascal area of higher pressure is really going to rule the roost and wipe out that precipitation in the longer range. And just for kicks, this is when our weather could become a little bit more active with that more significant area of low pressure kind of gliding off to the north. That's as it looks right now. Of course, this is way out. Things could change. We're talking 240 hours out. But this is a little bit more substantial rainfall. And on those northern areas, maybe even a little bit of wet snow in areas of Canada, not so much into Vermont. That's how it's looking right now. European cloud cover is what you're looking at here. And so what you can see here are some high clouds that'll drift in, but they have a hard time making it, bumping into that area of higher pressure, kind of die out. This is going to take place over the course of the next 24, 36 hours. And then a little bit more substantial high clouds with that frontal boundary as it rolls on through. This is going into basically Wednesday night. And then during the day on Thursday, we'll start out with a lot of lower level clouds. Thursday looks like we'll start out with that morning cloud cover giving way to periods of afternoon sunshine as these low level clouds will be starting to burn off and kind of move on out of the region. This is valid by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And again, probably some lingering mountain clouds on Thursday, but now we're into some colder temperatures, but also decent amounts of sunshine as we head into Friday. The next weather system moves in a little bit more substantial now with a lot of mid and high level clouds and even some lower clouds that'll push on in. That's going to take place with some scattered showers during the day on Saturday, but you see how it kind of falls apart. Let's take a look at the temperature. Here's the European temperature schematic, and what you can see here is basically some pretty warm weather, and then that cold front that will come through, lower the temperatures. Coldest day coming, it looks to be on Sunday, so definitely jacket, fleece kind of weather here, but probably decent amounts of sunshine on Friday, cloudier on Saturday, and then that area of higher pressure builds back and produces more sunshine as we get into Sunday, and then from there another warming trend upward Take a look at that one. Another 70-degree possibility. Putting that all together for a forecast for this afternoon, this would be Tuesday afternoon, the 22nd of October. Sunny, abnormally mild. We got daytime highs today in the mid-70s, just really well above normal in temperature, a light southwest wind. Clear skies, patchy valley fog overnight will form again, a low down to around 50, a south breeze 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, morning fog will burn off to a couple high clouds, then lots of sunshine. Temperatures once again near 75 degrees. A little bit of a breeze picking up, balmy out of the south to southwest at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Looking further ahead Wednesday night, clouding up, scattered showers developing, a low in the lower 40s. Thursday, morning clouds, that'll give way to periods of afternoon sun. As that weather system pushes on out, another area of higher pressure builds in, and a high in the upper 50s to near 60 for Thursday. Again, temperatures on the cooler side. Friday, sunshine, then increasing clouds later in the afternoon. A frosty low near 30, daytime high up around 55 on your Friday, but again, decent amounts of sun. Saturday, we go the other way, partly sunny in general, and there'll be a chance for some showers mixed with a few wet snowflakes in the high terrain, a low in the low to middle 30s on Saturday morning, and daytime highs up around the 50-degree mark. Averages generally 30 to 35, average highs low to middle 50s, and we transition to stick season. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.